Hello, I'm ThatBuilderBoi and welcome back to LEGO Robot Combat. We've finally made it to the grand final of the New Blood, where only 8 bots are left remaining to try and win the New Blood Championship. Let's take a look at the matchups for today's episode. The quarterfinals matchups are as follows. We have the first seed Skyline taking on the 8th seed Murder Toad, the 5th seed Zanta taking on the 13th seed Fireball, the 2 seed Profanity taking on the 10th seed Blackjack, and to finish off the quarterfinals, we have the 3rd seed, the Boss, taking on the 6th seed Botnest Monster.
3, 2, 1, activate!
Murder Toad immediately trying to spin up its drum weapon and rushing into Skyline, our 1 seed. Skyline getting rammed into the wall by Murder Toad, heavily favored into this fight. Skyline, the 1 seed, but already losing a side panel and missing a flip on Murder Toad, but capitalizing now, flipping over Murder Toad in the corner, losing the rest of it. It's lost a front wedge, so it'll struggle to get under, and it's been flipped over by Murder Toad. Murder Toad trying to pulverize it into the corner, and Skyline self-righting. Skyline, our 1 seed, in huge trouble here, unable to land a few attacks and getting the bottom of its flipper chewed up by Murder Toad. Murder Toad trying to spin up its spinner again and does. Trying to remove the other side panel on Skyline, but Skyline lining up a flip and flips over Murder Toad into that front left corner of the arena on your screen. ThatBuilderBoi trying to get in and trying to high center Skyline and does. Some good teamwork there from Murder Toad and ThatBuilderBoi, and again, Skyline getting flipped over by Murder Toad, taking some damage onto the rear of its bot, and its flipper's stuck open, and it's getting assisted in self-righting by Murder Toad. Skyline, our 1 seed, struggling very much here, and they've lost their other side panel, and it seems like they're not moving. They're barely crab walking, so they're still moving, but those wheels are deadly exposed, and they still have a dangerous flipper, so this fight still could go either way. Murder Toad trying to damage the flipper even more, trying to put it out of commission, and Skyline is barely moving. It's barely moving, but now moving out of the corner, but getting pushed back in again, and getting bullied all around by our 8th seed Murder Toad. Murder Toad pushing it into the arena piston, pushing him back, and Murder Toad coming in again. Seems to have some trouble with traction on the floor, but that seems to be the least of its worries, but getting flipped up by Skyline, almost out of the arena, getting saved by getting hung up on the arena wall, but coming back down, and more of the side armor coming off of Skyline. Skyline in real trouble here, needs to try and work up a comeback here, and if they can, Murder Toad is going to pull off a huge upset here, and more of the flippers come off. Skyline in real trouble here, pushed by the arena piston, and doesn't seem to be moving. The countdown has started. This is going to be a major upset. Skyline only with 4 seconds left to move, and that's it.
Cease.
With the flick of its flipper, Skyline is out, and Murder Toad has taken out the 1 seed. Major upset there with the 8 seed Murder Toad taking out our top ranked machine Skyline in absolutely brutal fashion. Next up, we have Zanta, the lifting vertical spinner from Swindobots JP, taking on Fireball.
3, 2, 1, activate!
Fireball, the 13th seed, the lowest seed in the tournament still, revving up its spinner, and Zanta immediately box rushing it, but losing one of its forks. Zanta is going to do its best to try and control the fight, but has already lost half of its drive pause, and there it goes. Oh my goodness, some major damage being done to our number 5 seed. Zanta taking huge damage and getting spun around by Fireball. Fireball showing why it's still in the tournament, and it is proving that it is not going to go down in this tournament without a fight, and goodness me, Zanta is drowning right now. It is getting absolutely brutalized by that heavy shell spinner of Fireball. Zanta can't even move. They can't even move, and half of their bot has come apart. Their bot has come apart. Their frame has been completely split. Fireball, our 13th seed, causing a major upset, and that is it. brutality
Cease.
by Fireball. Zanta getting torn apart piece by piece by the destructive Fireball as another upset, and Fireball moves on to the semifinals. Next up is Profanity versus Blackjack.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Blackjack spinning its spinner up to speed and getting box rushed by Profanity. Profanity trying to bring in that axe, that very quick firing axe, and has already lost the butt of it, but that's okay. It's still able to use its weapon effectively. Blackjack trying to spin up to speed and does so, but getting immediately deflected and flipped over, and Profanity hammering the underside of Blackjack. That is a very vulnerable part, and losing one of its forks, but it is still incredibly durable. Profanity and trying to deflect that spinner of Blackjack. Blackjack showed that it is a quite deadly spinner against Mechanic Panic, but Profanity, that wedge shape designed to take out horizontal spinners, a spinner killer some might say, and Blackjack sent wobbling by the wedges of Profanity and shot all the way across the arena, and taking a spin itself, Profanity, on the spinner of Blackjack. Blackjack bouncing around like a pinball in the arena right now, not showing much control, just like how many full body spinners are. They lack control, but when they lack control, they make up for it in huge hits and entertaining fights, unless if you're Captain Shredderator and you die on your own accord. Anyways, back to the fight. Blackjack trying to work up a head of steam here, but getting absolutely smothered by Profanity, coming in with those nice axe shots. Might not be doing the most amount of damage, but is still giving them aggression points. And weapon effectiveness. Oh, that is a huge hit. I think Blackjack has lost one of their teeth on their spinner. They may have lost one of the teeth on their spinner, and there goes the entire shell. The main chassis of Blackjack has been completely torn out from the inside of the bot and is getting absolutely hammered. That's gonna be it. What a shocking turn of events right there. Blackjack could not withstand all of those impacts from getting thrown around the arena, and Profanity takes a very dominant victory. Blackjack rolled Snake Eyes and managed to de-shell itself, leaving Profanity as the winner. Our final matchup for the quarterfinals is the Boss from Wolfie Productions 98 taking on the Saurian Tacos Botnest Monster.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
The Boss, with its dual disc spinners, now adding forks for this fight against Botnest Monster, our number 3 seed taking on the number 6 seed. Botnest Monster flipping over the Boss and the Boss self-righting. Very effective Shremek on the Boss. We never really got to see it in action in this qualifier match or against Roomba in the round of 16, but Botnest Monster getting flipped over after having 2 very dominant victories. They're really getting up against it here against the Boss. The Boss constantly getting underneath Botnest Monster and ramming it into the drums. Botnest Monster trying to come in onto the attack and flip over the Boss. Maybe trying to pick it up and throw it out of the arena, but big hit there by the Boss's dual drum spinners. Flipping over Botnest Monster. Botnest Monster can self-right. Is sometimes slow to do so, as right now, and getting slammed right into the wall by the Boss. The Boss getting flipped onto its side by Botnest Monster and is able to self-right. Very slowly, but still able to. The Boss spinning up its spinners again, ramming Botnest Monster into the wall and ramming them into the drums, and Botnest Monster stuck on its forks. Can it get down from there? It is trying to. I think the Boss has lost its Shremek. I see it in the back corner over there. So if they get flipped over, they will not be able to self-right. So Botnest Monster, all they need is one good lift, and it will be over for the Boss. But the Boss not going down without a fight and flipping over Botnest Monster onto its back by the drums, but self-righting and getting pushed into the piston and shoved out of the way. Locking their forks together, Botnest Monster flipped over once again. The Boss being very controlled in this fight against a very good control bot in Botnest Monster from the Saurian Taco. A battle of the YouTubers, some may say. because the boss comes from Wolfie Productions 98. I'll link their channel in the description. And the Sorian Taco owns Botnest Monster. I will also put their channel link in the description. Some shameless plugging and some slow driving into each other here. Botnest Monster getting tossed around in the drums and getting pushed by the arena piston. And Botnest Monster, in real trouble here, is behind on the scorecards and getting rammed into the walls by the boss. The boss, once again, helping Botnest Monster self-riding and taking a little bit of damage onto its side armor. And Botnest Monster stuck on its front forks again and is able to self-ride with the help of the boss. Just like, oh, and the boss gets flipped over. It is flipped onto its back. Will it get counted out? Is there enough time left remaining? I don't think so. It will go to the judges. And a very close fight for the judges. And they have turned in their decision. It is a split decision. And the winner, moving on to the semifinals, is the boss. That is quite controversial, I say, but the boss will move on. And here's how the semifinals will look. Murder Toad taking on Fireball, and Profanity taking on the boss.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Our first semi-final match is underway against the 13 seed Fireball and the 8 seed Murder Toad, and Fireball already getting box rushed by Murder Toad. Fireball has been very impressive in this tournament thus far, same with Murder Toad, both with very good and very surprising shock upset victories against higher ranked opponents. The Murder Toad currently on the back foot right now, and now pulling ahead with a huge deflection off of its wedge onto Fireball, and Fireball trying to cause some major damage to Murder Toad, sending it spinning but also sending itself flying. That's the problem with these full body spinners. I've said that before. They lack control, which will play a huge part in the judges' scorecards, and Fireball seems to be struggling to spin up here. Nope, they are doing just fine. Scratch what I just said. Murder Toad boxing them into the corner, trying to get some minor chip damage with that drum spinner. And Fireball spinning back up to speed, and Murder Toad popping them up into the air. Who knows what kind of internal damage that may cause, but Murder Toad losing some of its forks. That's okay, its forks are meant to be ablative in these kind of fights, but still damaged nonetheless. But Fireball trying to get a good shot onto the side of Murder Toad, and Murder Toad causing some damage on Fireball. I see some red and orange dotting the arena, and again, Murder Toad trying to ram its spinner into Fireball, and Fireball seems to be at a standstill. Is it working? It is moving, trying to get its spinner up to speed, and does. Murder Toad coming back in on the attack, and it seems that both of these bots are extremely weary from many rounds of combat. And Murder Toad's drum has completely been split in half. This is going to be a huge game changer, so it's going to need to use the arena hazards to its advantage. Fireball trying to push back, but Murder Toad has the advantage of a better drivetrain and the ground game. Fireball doesn't have any of that. It only relies on its spinner, so if its spinner goes down, basically the fight will go down with it. It has little to no pushing power and cannot control the fight like Murder Toad. Murder Toad coming back in on the attack, showing good aggression and good control. Fireball trying to win weapon effectiveness outright along with aggression by trying to attack, but Murder Toad constantly keeping the pressure on and sending Fireball flying across the arena, taking it coast to coast and getting a nice shot on the side of Murder Toad, but Murder Toad still keeping on the aggression here. Fireball slowing down, but spinning back up to speed and throwing Murder Toad back against the wall. Murder Toad shoving them into the corner and trying to knock Fireball out, but Fireball not going down without a fight. Murder Toad pushing Fireball into the drums and flipping them over for the first time this match. Cease. And that is going to be Cease. Another very close and back and forth fight. We reach another judge's decision. The judges have made their decision, and And the winner, moving on to the finals, is Murder Toad. Well done to Murder Toad. They'll be facing the winner of Profanity versus the boss.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Our second semifinal match is underway. Both bots meeting at the center of the arena, but Profanity getting pushed into the corner by the boss. The boss coming off a very tight judge's decision win against Botnest Monster in the previous round, and Profanity coming in, swinging its hammer on top of the boss. The boss very well armored though, and getting shoved around the arena. The boss getting hung up on those very low forks of Profanity. We have been praising the design of Profanity all tournament with those very low forks and very good axe. Not causing the most damage, but showing weapon effectiveness and aggression. And the boss still hung up on the forks, but only getting free thanks to the arena piston. And some damage is being caused. I don't know off of who. Both bots have black in their paint jobs. And Profanity bringing in that axe again. The boss getting pushed into the corner and being subject to even more axe blows. The boss really behind on the scorecards right now, needs to try and get those spinners into play, probably flip Profanity over and cause some damage to the vulnerable underbelly of Profanity. Or causing damage to the side. Those wheel guards are pretty out there, and they have pretty large flanks, Profanity. But, oh, some damage there, I think caused Profanity. Yep, I see a little bit of damage onto the back left corner of Profanity's wheel guards. And the boss being pushed into the drums, losing some of the side armor, very close to going out of the arena, very lucky to not go out there. Profanity controlling this fight right now and shoving the boss into the drums, trying to get some damage, trying to control the fight. Profanity being subject to some shots on the side by the boss. Those dual drum spinners don't seem to be spinning up as well as they should be on the boss. Maybe some weapon trouble. That will cost them dearly in this fight if it keeps going on like this. And they're trying to get their spinners up to speed, meeting in the center of the arena, trying to push around. I think Profanity has lost one of their forks, so that's going to be weapon effectiveness in the favor of the boss, and they're flipped over, and they self-right. But I think they have lost their Shremek again. No, never mind. Scratch that. They still have their Shremek. And they get flipped over. Can they self-right? They do, from the help of Profanity. And flipping over the boss again, using their Shremek. And the boss taking some heavy hits from that axe on Profanity. They really do need to try and make a comeback here. Trying with that shove, but it was a fruitless venture. And Profanity and the boss having a little shoving match in the center of the arena, trying their utmost to get the knockout. Profanity on the ropes, getting pushed around by the boss all around the arena. That's a good attack by the boss. And that is it. It goes to the judges. Our third judge's decision in a row for this episode, as it was another close back and forth affair, but the judges have turned in their decision, and the winner moving on to the final facing Murder Toad is Profanity. Well done to Profanity. The boss and Fireball will be moving down to our third place matchup, which will be happening very soon. Actually, wait, it's happening right now.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Here we go, our third place match. Fireball and the boss, both very worthy finalists, but unable to beat their opponents in the semifinals. So they're taking on each other to see who will win the bronze. Fireball. Oh my goodness! What a shot by the boss. All they needed was one deflection, and they have taken the bronze. Well done to the boss. Commiserations to Fireball. Oh my goodness. What a shot. A swift and rather lucky deflection leads the boss to take third place in our second ever New Blood Championship. But it's finally time. Our first place match. The 2-seed Profanity taking on the 8-seed Murder Toad, who will be the New Blood Champion.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Here we go, the grand final of the New Blood. These are the two best bots in the tournament, and Profanity already hung up on Tadpole, and Murder Toad taking advantage, already causing damage to the side of Profanity, but Profanity coming back with some good axe shots on the top of Murder Toad. Murder Toad hung up on the forks of Profanity, and Profanity bringing his axe in on top, getting pushed by the Arena Piston. Murder Toad coming back in, but getting slammed into the wall by Profanity. Profanity has lost its axe head, so all it's got is a little hammering stick. So it can't really win weapon effectiveness all too much, but it can still win on aggression and control, and Murder Toad is upside down. Its weapon does not work while it's upside down, but it is still able to drive upside down. So maybe something that the team can redesign for Series 8 if they decide to come back. And Murder Toad getting shoved into the drums, trying to self-right right now. They're ramming themselves into the wall, trying to self-right, but Profanity coming in from behind, trying to get some cheap shots onto the underbelly. They don't, and they self-right Murder Toad. Why would you do that? Now their weapon is back up to speed and you're taking damage. And they show their backside, a driving mistake on Profanity's part, but it didn't seem to do much. Profanity ramming Murder Toad into the wall and coming in with its hammer. Or, well, whatever's left of it, its shaft. And Murder Toad getting rammed into the wall, spinning up its spinner, and getting spun across the arena. I think Profanity has lost part of its forks and taking damage to the side. Murder Toad coming in again, getting hung up on the forks and getting grinded by the drums. Profanity and Murder Toad meeting in the center of the arena, locking horns, getting pushed around Murder Toad into the corner. Now Murder Toad coming back, spinning up its spinner, trying to get some damage onto the side of Profanity, and hitting the back of Profanity, hitting the axe. Not doing much damage. Oh, and there goes the entire axe shaft, axe mechanism of Profanity. They still have low force, but right now Murder Toad is winning weapon effectiveness, but they might be losing on aggression and control. But there's still plenty of time in this match left, and Murder Toad can swing it back into their favor. All they need is one good shot with their spinner to flip over Profanity, and that would be it. Profanity using its forks and wedge to good control here, shoving Murder Toad all around the arena. Murder Toad trying to spin up its spinner and get some damage in, win some weapon effectiveness and aggression, but they can't seem to get a good bite on Profanity now that its axe is completely gone. Trying to get some minor chip damage, and they do on the wheel guards of Profanity, but Profanity trying to square back up, trying to control the fight. That's all it can do at this point. It doesn't have a weapon. All it has is its low forks and wedge, and pushing Murder Toad into the drums. Good control there. Murder Toad pushing Profanity back into the corner. Profanity trying its best to square up again, and they do so, and ramming Murder Toad into the wall. I see some green on the floor. That's some damage on Murder Toad, and Murder Toad flips over Profanity.
Cease.
I don't think there's enough time left. It goes to the judges. It was a very close and hard-fought fight between these two bots. Some drama at the end there. Profanity being left immobilized, but not enough time for a countout, so it will go to the judges. And I thank God I'm not a judge, but they have turned in their decision, and the winner of the New Blood Championship by split decision is Profanity. Well done to Profanity. They're our second ever New Blood champion. And our standings are as follows. Profanity with first, Murder Toad with second, the Boss with third, and Fireball with fourth. Well done to every single bot that's competed. We hope to see you in a future tournament sometime. I'd like to thank all you viewers for watching. I've been your host, ThatBuilderBoi, and I'll see you in the next special.